Good morning, good afternoon, good day, whatever it is for you. Thank you for joining us again, or for the first time if you weren't unable to join us yesterday. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Vicky Farini. I'm the head of the Regional Center for the Atlantic and Indian Oceans. I just wanted to say a quick welcome. I think yesterday was very productive. We mostly spent our time presenting to you all, but we really were excited to hear from people in the community with questions and suggestions, and we really want to encourage that, not just throughout the rest of the meeting, but in general, always reach out to us. We're very eager to hear how we can work with you, how we can help. And also to hear new ideas that we maybe haven't thought of. So please reach out. I have no idea what the next slide is, so we can maybe move on to that one. Right. So general housekeeping. Again, we are recording, and I did press record already. We will share the link to participants and everyone who signed up for the meeting in short order after we finish today's session, as we did for yesterday. And then we will be posting all of the sessions on YouTube. We plan to exclude any discussion sections that we might feel are sensitive and shouldn't be out in the public. We really want to foster open dialogue. So we will do our best to remove discussion periods. We are again asking everyone to keep their microphones muted unless you're asked to unmute, and we're managing that through Zoom. As always, please be respectful of one another, which goes without saying, but it's always good to have that reminder there. If you have questions, you can raise your hand, especially during the discussion periods. We definitely want to have some dialogue today and also tomorrow. If you have other questions that are relevant sort of as the conversation is moving forward, please use the chat to post that, and we'll make sure to get a response to you. We're also creating meeting summaries and making sure that we capture all of the links that are presented to make sure that we provide you all with a list of various resources that are discussed throughout the meeting. So things will appear in the chat as we go through, as was done yesterday, if links come up, but don't panic if you miss it. We will make sure to provide it to you. Next slide. So the agenda for today, it's a little bit focused on really discussions from and among and with some of the coordinators for Seabed 2030 and crowdsourced bathymetry within some of the regional hydrographic commissions that fall within the Atlantic and Indian Ocean region. So we're really excited both to hear the updates and to have an opportunity to ask questions, but maybe most of all, to have these coordinators have an opportunity to interact with one another. We'll have a short break as we did yesterday, and then we'll have an open, a moderated panel discussion, as well as time for some questions and input from the audience. So I'm very grateful to those who are speaking today, and just want to express my gratitude. And I think we can move on to the next slide. All right, so this is just summarizing for anyone who wasn't here yesterday. We really spent time trying to focus on topics from the regional center and from the IHO Data Center for Digital Bathymetry out to the community. So that's largely what we covered yesterday. Those resources we think are valuable to have online and available, so definitely those will be on YouTube. We also covered the postgraduate training program in ocean floor mapping, and heard quite a bit more about various capacity development efforts across the region. So, yes, thank you. We also covered briefly some of the technical priorities that have come from the Technical Subcommittee for Ocean Mapping within JEBCO, and those technical priorities are sort of leading some of the broader JEBCO efforts right now in terms of trying to improve accessibility of data. And so those are listed here, and there's a lot more information about those available online in the material that we'll share with you. Again, just reminding us all about our eagerness to engage with you. So please reach out with any questions, suggestions, etc. Let me go to the next slide. All right. I'm going to hand it over to Haley, who will be moderating today's session. And again, thank you all. I'm going to have to leave a bit early today for another meeting, but I will absolutely catch up on the recording. So without further ado, take it away, Haley.
Yeah, thank you, Vicki. For those of you who didn't get to join us yesterday, I am Haley Drennan. I am a data manager here at the Atlantic and Indian Ocean Regional Center, and I am moderating today's presentations and a discussion. And so if I just go to the next slide, you'll see our presenters today. We have Lieutenant Commander Telmo Heraldes Diaz, Hans Oyas, and Diego Billings slash Matthew. I assume Matthew's on the call with us now. So Diego got caught up, and so we have Matthew here to help substitute. So I'm going to invite Lieutenant Commander Telmo Heraldes Diaz to go first and share your screen.
Okay, can you confirm that you are seeing the screen and hearing? Okay.
Yep.
Thank you. Good morning. Thank you for the invitation and for the opportunity to present the CMAP 2030 project. So my name is Telmo Diaz. I am a Navy officer and I work at the Portuguese Hydrographic Institute Data Center. So my presentation will be about these topics. I will start with the vision and the background of the project, some statistics related with the study area. Next, I will talk about the actual state and progress on seabed mapping, then some aspects concerning data coordination and technological innovation, and finally, some strategies for achieving a fully mapped ocean to be discussed further. So aligned with the CBET 2030, the Portuguese Hydrographic Office and the Portuguese Navy have their own mapping project, the CMAP 2030. So this project was officially launched in 2017, and its vision is to complete the high-resolution mapping of all the Portuguese maritime spaces by 2030. And you can read more about this project in a dedicated story map. And we also have an article published in the International Hydrographic Review that describes the project in detail, and also an article in the Hydro magazine. So here you can see the full dimension of the Portuguese maritime spaces. We have 3 exclusive economic zones and the continental shelf extension claim area. The total area is around 4 million square kilometers, which is equivalent to 44 times the terrestrial area of the mainland. And here you can see the current state of the project with the coverage highlighted in gray. And here you can see the coverage by maritime spaces. So the high resolution surveys began in 2005, and the percentage refer to full bottom coverage. So the area with the best bathymetric coverage now is the mainland with 84%. And the one with the poorest coverage is now the continental shelf station claim area with 50%. In recent years, most of the mapping efforts have been directed towards Azores archipelago, because it was the area with the poorest coverage in the past. And the total coverage of all the maritime spaces is around 57% now. So an important source for bathymetry are the international scientific cruises that operate in the Portuguese maritime spaces. We have an average of 25 cruises per year, and some of them collect bathymetry. For this project, we have also been contacting the entities that are responsible for these cruises in order to retrieve the data faster than the usual bureaucratic procedure. So these images are examples of the coverage of Ifremer and Chom from France, BSH from Germany, and also NOAA from the US. And this has been a time-consuming process, so we encourage all data holders to, if they cannot disclose the data, at least publicly release the coverage extent, so in order to better direct the survey efforts. So in this map, we can see the contribution of the international scientific cruises for this project. So it's a large percentage from this source. And another important aspect of the project is how data is released to the public. So in the past, we had a dedicated web platform for that, but now this data is fully integrated in our marine spatial data infrastructure, Hydrographic Pools, where users can access the data. So you can see here in the image on the left, and also the resolutions for which data is being disclosed with. And also we recently also improved our metadata for this data set, making it compliant with ISO 19115 standard. So finally, this is my final slide. I put here some bullet points which we think can help achieving a fully mapped ocean. So the first is regarding collaboration and partnerships. So it is important to share the survey efforts and to coordinate mapping efforts across sectors and organizations in order to maximize resources and data collection efficiency. Also to encourage the use of crowdsourced bathymetry from vessels of opportunity and the general public to expand bathymetric coverage. Also, as we showed, together bathymetric surveys from other agencies by collaborating with them to obtain and integrate their bathymetry data into the global mapping effort, and also to monitor scientific cruises, keeping track of upcoming scientific cruises in our areas to leverage existing data collection efforts and avoid application efforts. So regarding advanced survey technologies, so to invest in new platforms, unmanned platforms or autonomous platforms, to multiply survey endurance and achieve more efficient mapping efforts, for instance, in hard-to-reach areas. And also to adopt new techniques such as satellite-derived bathymetry to complement the traditional sonar-based surveys and map shallow coastal and remote areas more efficiently. Regarding data integration and standardization, also to maintain an updated and public available coverage. So to ensure that bathymetric data coverage is regularly updated and made available through open access platforms to support global collaboration. And finally, regarding public awareness and advocacy, so to raise awareness of the importance of ocean mapping. So to know the seabed morphology is the basis for all the ocean science, and try to get funding and support from ocean sustainability programs. And also to make your data available in open formats, even if not at full resolution, to promote its use in marine conservation, climate change research, and resource management to enhance its value. So, and the final observation that we have noticed is the unknown seabed is a very different thing from the unknown seabed data. So it's important to first to find the data because much of the data is already been collected. So this finishes my presentation. Thank you for your attention. And I leave here some contacts and links to data portals for your interest. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Telmo. I can say that I think yesterday we were able to feature one of the CMAP 2030 data sets that we integrated for 2024 around Cabo Verde. Just really gorgeous data that we're really happy to be able to integrate into our Seabed 2030 compilation. If I could get Hans to now share their screen, and it's your turn to speak. Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
I'll do my best.
Thank you.
Do you see the presentation mode now? Yeah.
Yep, looks great. Thank you.
I'll try to get mine as well. Yeah. Good day to you all. I'm Hans Oels from Swedish Maritime Administration, and Sweden is involved in both the Nordic Hydrographic Commission, that is the oldest regional hydrographic commission within IHO. It is the Nordic countries, including Iceland. So as Denmark is part of that, also the entire Greenland area, even that it wasn't possible to get it into this map because it would have shrinked the other countries too much. Greenland is large. Baltic Sea Hydrographic Commission is the 9 Baltic countries. As you see in the image, Lithuania is marked with a different color. It's due to that they still are not members of IHO, but they are still belonging in the Baltic Sea Hydrographic Commission. At present time, as many others, we have no cooperation with the Russians. It has been postponed until further. And during the meetings, crowdsourced bathymetry is always brought up in the IRCC reporting, and also encouragement for all member states to participate in the crowdsourced bathymetry working group. Denmark is trying crowdsourced bathymetry where official data is sparse, especially in the Greenland area, as it's remote and very, very poorly surveyed in many areas. There's also a large number of cruise ships going around there on whale safaris and ice bear sites and so on. They have also started to use it in Danish mainland. And I believe also Germany is using it on the North Sea coasts, especially after heavy storms, as they have quite changing seafloor, a lot of sand drifts. And the Nordic Hydrographic Commission last year signed a Memory of Understanding with Seabed 2030 as the first regional hydrographic commission that did so. And there is also a task for Baltic Sea Hydrographic Commission member states to consider signing such a MOU with Seabed at the next conference this year. So that will be up on the agenda again. And our main contribution to JEBCO and as such Seabed 2030 is from EMODNet, as we are Swedish Maritime Administration is regional coordinator for the Baltic region, and all countries has in some form delivered data to that compilation except Russia. For the Kaliningrad area between Lithuania and Poland, there is, or I accidentally found a DTM that some Russian university had published. So that has been used in the Kaliningrad area, in the Baltic, for the last EMODnet compilation. It will, of course, be used this time as well. What's new is that Iceland will deliver data to EMODnet. They confirmed that during the Nordic Hydrographic Conference meeting. They are interested in delivering. There are very few persons. I think they are 6 or 7 persons in total in their hydrographic office. So I guess they have short routes to decisions. And also for the next, for the upcoming Baltic Hydrographic Commission meetings, there will be a joint crowdsourced bathymetry, GEBCO, EMODnet discussion point for presentations and so on, as a standing agenda point. And you asked us to discuss challenges or limitations. The legal issues is the main limitation. Several countries has legislations prohibiting collection of bathymetry inside the territorial sea. Sweden and Finland has, I believe, the clearest legislations about that. But it is a big limitation there. Even that you're allowed to collect data for your own use, you're not allowed to disclose it for others. Crowdsourced bathymetry in reference to UNCLOS has been discussed during the meetings, and I have presented some of Stephen Keating's slides regarding that crowdsourced bathymetry is not considered to be hydrographic survey. I also lifted that with the Swedish military at the meeting in December. So they have gotten some slides from me there to reflect over. We'll see what happens with that. Hydrographic Office interest for to use crowdsourced bathymetry is often low. It's frequently considered to be of a low quality, and if you want to use it, it's a fairly long review process to study the quality and determine the quality of that. Did the slide disappear from you now?
Yeah, we now see your presenter mode instead of the presentation itself. We see the presenter mode. It just needs to be swapped again.
Yeah, no, my screen shut off. I don't know.
Oh no. Technical difficulties.
Yes, sorry for that.
No worries. We had our own technical difficulties yesterday as well, so happens all the time with internet.
We'll see if it comes back now. No.
If your screen gives you too much trouble. Oh, there we go. Yep.
Do you see the full screen now or my presentation mode?
Presentation mode.
So you see the correct one. Okay.
No, I see the, sorry, I got the two options backwards. I see your presenter mode. I don't see the presentation mode. My bad. Apologies.
Okay.
Try one more time.
We'll try it. Do you see my screen now?
I see your presentation in PowerPoint. Yes.
Yeah. I'll restart that. And don't have
Okay.
my presentator view then.
Yes.
The legal issues, we discussed that. Yeah, the hydrographic office interest, and the DCDB tools for review of data is currently being tested by Denmark, and they will report about what they find, what they think about it, and the usability to the next Baltic Sea Hydrographic Conference. It's written in as an action in the action list. And also, all Baltic Sea Hydrographic Commission members are requested to revise the replies to the circular letter, the CL21 from 2020, until next meeting. And also to consider to encourage national shipping industry to contribute with crowdsourced bathymetry data to IHO DCDB. And even that it's not legal to do it in Swedish and Finnish territorial waters, Poland and some other countries, our nation's ships, they travel all around the world and also in more poorly surveyed waters, so they can still contribute with data from other parts than from our territorial seas. And before I leave this slide, another thing is that you can see this bathymetric grid here. It is an area within the Baltic Sea and Swedish economic zone, where SMA ourselves, we have old single beam lines with 3,000 meters line separations in that area. And the geological survey has this very dense multi-beam data set for that area. And we are looking into getting that into our bathymetric database. We have several of such areas. This is in an environmental protected area, and it's written in the sea chart, area to be avoided. It's quite shallow, but still it's data available, but that we haven't surveyed ourselves. And you also wanted to discuss collaborations in the region. Well, we have the EMONet, as I mentioned earlier. It has contributed quite a lot to get a very much higher quality of the data sets in the Baltic and also the rest of the Europe. It's made up from hydrographic office data and also combined with other data sets wherever the hydrographic offices either doesn't have any data or just poor data. It's combined to other data sources. And we have also cooperations for between the hydrographic offices when it comes to procurement of hydrographic surveys from contractors. And we have also sometimes been doing hydrographic surveys within each other's economical zone. If we, one example was that the Danish were going to survey an area close to between Bornholm and Sweden, and we were surveying an area between Sweden and Denmark, and on each side, on the other side of the economic exclusive economical zone borders between the countries, there were data gaps. So we went in there. We've also had at least once European Union funding for archipelagic surveys in Åland and Sweden, in cooperation with between Finland and Sweden then. And to encourage data sharing in the regions and how to contribute. Keep working on the legal issues between UNCLOS versus national laws, legislations, because it would be good if it could be sometimes decided globally that CSB is not hydrographic survey and cannot be legislated by the coastal states. Crowdsourced bathymetry, to get that in as discussion points in all IHO regional commission meetings. Even if it's just discussion points, you can bring it issues up at that point. And in shipping yachting newspapers, you can inform how they can help in data collection for Seabed 2030 and DCDB JEBCO, and make data delivery to DCDB tempting and easy. The information about delivery might scare people away, as it is today. Which of the information to the right or below attracts the most? Because the right-hand side, I took that today from the DCDB information page about how to deliver data. That type of information scares many merchant navy officers and others away. This it looks too complicated. Reel them in. You need to have a good bait to catch the fish. That's my final point from this presentation. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Hans. You definitely make a good point about the making it less complicated, making it more accessible to others to contribute. I'm going to stop your sharing, and I'm going to invite Matthew or Diego to join us to present for us. Thank you, Matthew. This is Matthew Dane Henry, and he's stepping in for Diego Billings.
Hi, good morning, everyone. As Haley stated, I'm the substitute teacher for today. Let me go ahead and try to share the screen really quickly. Did you guys confirm that you see my screen?
It's coming. Hold on. Oh, yep, we see your PowerPoint.
Okay, so today, as we started, we're going to continue having a chat about regional initiatives within the communities, us being the Atlantic and the MAC region within the Atlantic and Indian Oceans. So basically, we're going to just look at the mapping progress within the MAC, the innovations integrated at the NLA's Hydrographic Office, limitations and challenges in the MAC region, collaboration in the MAC region and our initiatives with data sharing. So firstly, on this slide, we see what the status of mapping looked like within the MAC region in 2014. And now we see a higher density of information available up to current, with approximately 29.32% of the area covered in bathymetric data. This providing a more concise viewing of that same image earlier. Here we have a chart of the progress over the last 5 years. So moving steadily each year from 20.68% in 2020 to 23.37% in 2021 to 26.56% in 2022, 27.58% in 23, and finally up to the last check last year, it's 29.32% of the area covered within the MAP region. The data sources or contributions within the region come from 30 nations and 26 organizations in total. The organizations are a mix of public sector, academia, government, industry, and of course, these data sharing entities are happening at national, regional, and of course, global levels, of ultimately leading to submission to our friends at the data center, Vicky, Haley, Sheila, and Tina, and the rest of the team. Since we have been limited in technology in this region, we have been trying in multiple ways to maximize the efforts of getting bathymetric data. And what we have additionally done here is we have included an all-source approach where we combine the technologies of multi-beam data, satellite-derived bathymetry, and other means such as UAVs, where we use all these different technologies and data sets to compile a final product that is representative of the information that we need. So here in this set, for this survey of Port Antonio on the eastern side of the island, we use a crewed survey vessel, 1 UAV, and 4 satellites to provide the raw data for our satellite-derived bathymetry. The challenges within the MAC region, especially on the Caribbean side, is firstly training. There is a lack of established training centers for hydrographic operations within the Caribbean itself. So one great initiative that I benefited from, Diego, and probably some other people on the call, is the Nippon Foundation JEVCO Postgraduate Certificate in Ocean Mapping. And it's currently at year 21. And this is an initiative that has had a global reach and is continuing to have a global reach, improving the skill set of different professionals in the hydrographic space. And our efforts now is exposing these opportunities to other member states within the MAC region, allowing them the opportunity to apply themselves to these initiatives, as well as to increase their skill level and output to ultimately maximize mapping within the region. The second limitation on this side is in terms of resources, whether it be vessels or multi-beam equipment. These are not readily available for most of the Caribbean nations. And as such, we are constantly in conversations and efforts with other nations and collaborating with other entities such as the UKHO, NOAA, and other entities that allow for this situation to be improved. One such collaboration came in the form of T-Carta, which is, of course, is a satellite-derived bathymetry company, and they have been partners of ours since as early as 2019. And in this past year, they have had collaborations, workshops within the region where they provide training on the basics of SDB imagery selection, SDB processing, Q&A, accuracy reporting. And they do this in country, in person, which makes it especially effective. So firstly, in the past year, in February, there was a collaboration here in Jamaica where our entire coastline, as well as the Pedro Banks, were covered in bathymetric data from satellite-derived bathymetry, and the entire coverage total 13,539 square kilometers with a depth range of 0.1 of a meter to 36.03 meters. Later in the year, in July, Sheila was a part of the initiative in the Dominican Republic, where there was a similar collaboration with some STB mapping done in that area with a total coverage of 7,053.89 square kilometers with a depth range of 0.1 to 31.03 meters. So currently we're working on efforts to encourage data sharing in the MAC through the use of virtual workshops and even in-person meetings. So for example, we were recently at the MAC conference, MAC 25 in Panama City. And what we did in that moment through the office of the coordinator for the region, we went ahead and we made people aware of the benefits of data sharing, aware of where to submit the data for those who had data and didn't know what to do with it, for those who were lacking the tools to get the data. Out of that same MAC conference, there came a collaboration where the UKHO actually offered to go ahead and start a program where they're going to be loaning Norbit systems to help small countries who don't have multi-beam echo sounders or other data collection mechanisms to help them to actually acquire some data and have their own submissions made to the global effort. And this loaning system will be implemented in 2025, and the training will be included for the staff members of these various hydrographic offices as we try to increase the capacity within the region. Further information sharing goes through the sharing of IHO/MAC circulars, and we are in constant collaboration with the CBED 2030 partners, increasing engagement, increasing understanding, and ultimately moving towards greater data collection, representation, and submission for the region. That wraps up our talk for today. Thank you guys for listening.
Thank you, Matthew. I believe we're a little ahead of schedule, which is fine with us. It's still very early here. But I figure we'll take a short break. That way we could go to the bathroom, stretch our legs, get some coffee, and then we're going to reconvene for our panel discussion and different any questions, of course, that the audience has as well. So we have like 5 minutes for that. So we reconvene at like 8:50 Eastern Standard Time. Okay. Cool. All right. I'll see you guys in a bit.